Hello, everybody. How we doing? How we doing? My name is Quantic Flux, and today we're going to be checking out the demo for a game called Herald of the Mists. This is a narrative-driven RPG. Kind of reminds me of a solo tabletop RPG. Seems pretty neat. So, without further ado, why don't we head on in and check it out? Diego of the Mist started a rebellion for the third time. I think they'd have put Diego down after the first couple times. Determined to end his defiance, the queen dispatched her army, led by Kai the Written, into the mists. Neither Kai nor the army ever returned. Well, that explains why they didn't put Diego down. Queen has tasked you with uncovering the fate of her lost forces. Enter your name. Quantic. Ooh, I like that Q. Okay. Got some attribute points, huh? Requires strength. Two-handed sword. Sure. Bow. We got magic in this bad boy. Ray. I mean, let's be honest about what I'm going to do here. Fans of the channel know it's just going to be a magic man. Like, we simply must be magic. Okay. Sure. I should probably have armor, though. Cast spells from the first circle of magic. Swing your weapon in a wide horizontal arc. Slam. Sure. Rain of arrows. Okay. Bash people with bows. I mean, I don't care about any of this. Give me a freaking magic, man. Swords and heavy armor. Okay. I feel like we should probably have armor, but like, what if I don't do that and I go full magic man? I don't have any more points. Good. Okay. Great. Mountain Pass. I go in here. 15 HP, 15 mana, 8 armor. More armor than I would have expected. Camp, leave. Okay. Mountain Pass. The color of the Ascendant's throne, a set of 9 moons in the sky, turns blue, marking the beginning of the 3rd month of the year and also the beginning of your journey. Okay, so we're in month 3 of the year. Got it. I don't know how many months are in a year in this world. Standing atop the mountain pass and gazing at your destination, you understand why this place is called the Mist. I mean, yeah, it's misty as hell, dude. The entire region is shrouded in a thick veil of fog, so dense that even the light of the throne cannot pierce through it. I like that we've got background information, okay. Although, yeah, they're both the throne, got it. The 9 moons in the sky, each one is a different size and changes color every month. End the war with the second corner and unite all of Barang, Rakin, ascended to the largest of them and made all 9 moons his throne. Gotta be bright as hell, dude. At night, if there's 9 moons. Through the veil, the only things you can make out are the dark silhouettes of nearby trees and a tall tower rising on the horizon. Is that a rival wizard? Because I will destroy them and steal their tower. It's late, I need to rest before continuing my journey. You walk down the pass and look for a place to camp. Before you find a suitable spot, your eyes catch a faint light flickering a short distance away. The fog prevents you from seeing the source of light. Might be another person setting up camp, but as far as you know, there's no one living up this far. Tutorial, dice rolls. You roll dice for actions with uncertain outcomes. You roll 2 6-sided dice and add the relevant attribute. The total meets or exceeds the target, you succeed. In dialogue, you can see the target and your chance of success. Displayed target already accounts for your relevant attribute. Okay. 58% chance. I mean, it doesn't sound like there's a downside to failing this. If my option is to walk in or to try to sneak in and then potentially be heard, but like, what is the downside here? Big bucks, no whammies? Hell yeah, brother. Using the fog to your advantage, you carefully approach the source of the light. As you get closer, it becomes more obvious that it is a campfire. You stop at a safe distance, and you see a hooded figure resting by the big fire. Figure sits on a tree trunk and extends one hand towards the fire, a long sword leaning on their shoulder with its tip on the ground. Figure doesn't seem to notice you. Okay. We can either observe them for a while or introduce ourselves. I feel like we should probably observe them for a while. Figure doesn't do much other than watch the dancing fire. The clothes in the visible part of their face are covered in dirt. Must have been traveling for a long time. Could be a soldier or a hunter. Alright, I will approach them. Without making any sudden movements, I will make it clear that I don't mean any harm, and I will say, "Hi, I was looking for somewhere to rest. May I join you?" The moment you step out from the fog, the figure startles, swiftly reaching for the hilt of the sword resting on their shoulder. "Stay where you are," the figure warns, and from the voice you understand the figure is a woman. Whoops. "Don't take another step." I don't move. The figure scans you from head to toe, trying to figure out if you're dangerous. "Who might you be?" "I'm Quantic. I'm the Herald of the Queen. I come from Gart." I mean, I don't see why I wouldn't tell the truth. We'll just murder this lady if we need to. Moves her head in surprise when she hears the Queen. "That's so," she says in her soft voice. "I'm Maya. Unlike you, I'm leaving the Mist and going to Gart." Also known as the First Corner, it is Barang's first and wealthiest settlement. Considered the capital of Barang, and nearly all trade flows through this city. The Queen's magnificent palace is also located here, featuring 9 towers, each representing one of the moons. Okay. Makes a gesture for you to sit.
"What is the Herald of the Queen doing here?"
You sit across, you examine Maya. Some of her black hair peeks out from her hood, partially obscuring her face. The remaining portion appears quite dirty. Her eyes are light blue like the ascendant thrones in the sky. Her gaze is stern and her shoulders broad, and you realize she is missing her right arm. Badass? Come to find out what happened to the Lost Army. Probably part of that, right? Maya's eye twitches when she hears the army. I see. Might know something about the army. Do you know what happened about it? Or to it?
"No.
He says, dismissing the question.
They passed by the outskirts of my town years ago. Haven't seen them again."
I feel like she is lying.
I've heard some rumors, though."
Okay. What kind of rumors? Blue eyes watch the dancing flames for a moment before turning to you.
"They say the army betrayed the Queen,
He quietly responds.
and Kai now serves Diego instead."
Missing a quote right there. That's okay, though. Kai is the one that she sent out. Known as the Queen's most favorite and loyal warrior, Kai's fate was written by the Queen long before his birth, hence the earned moniker, the Written. He trained as a soldier. He led the Queen's army in numerous battles. He is renowned for his generosity, humility, diligence, and superior tactical acumen. Sounds like we're on the wrong side. During the Mist's second uprising, he not only defeated Diego's invincible army, Knights of the Mist, but also became their leader. Wait, what? So Diego must have been on the Queen's side originally? He transformed into a hero among the people, strengthening the Queen's rule throughout Barang. Also known as Diego the Betrayer, he was among the first tribes to settle in the Mist, seeking to take advantage of Gart's weakness during the epidemic, declared war on the Queen. However, he was prevented by the Ascendant himself, who descended from his throne. He is renowned for his compelling charisma, masterful persuasion, and the uncanny ability to incite rebellion. Hell yeah, brother. Even among the most loyal devotees of the Ascendant and the Queen. He has 3 children. The fate of the first is unknown, the second Glenn, the third Celine. Okay, are you Diego's daughter? Pauses for a second.
"I can say that much at least."
Nonsense. Kai is the Queen's most loyal soldier.
"I know.
Maya smiles faintly, realizing the absurdity of what she's saying.
Mists carry all sorts of nonsense around.
Her smile fades.
Sometimes they even make you believe in it."
Okay, where's your town? I'll probably investigate there if they pass by.
"It's in the west of the 5th Corner, about 3 days' walk away, called Cloud Fishers. Not too far from here either. Follow the northern road after crossing the pass,"
She advises.
"A rather small town, but it's safe."
Okay. 5th Corner is Barang's 5th and the Mist's first official settlement. Founded by Oswald Laren, a devoted follower of both Kairakin and his daughter. Even long after his death, Laren's steadfast loyalty continues to echo through the 5th Corner. They said it resisted all involvement in the rebellion to the Mist. Dude, you gotta join the rebellion, man. What are you doing? Maya tilts her head from side to side, watching the fire as she waits for your next question. Okay. What can you tell me about the Mist? She sniffs, tossing a twig into the fire before responding.
Nothing like Gart. I can say that much at least. People are cold and distant. Most worship the Ascendant, but they're not fond of the Queen. Though the Written managed to change that a bit.
Kai the Written is the Queen's most esteemed general and a folk hero. He played a significant role in the defeat of Diego of the Mist, strengthening the Queen's rule. Unfortunately, he disappeared along with the army.
The Fifth Corner still supports the Queen. I can't say the same for the Mist Dwellers and the Liberated.
Okay. We read about Gart. That's where the Queen lives. Read about the Ascendant. Oh, wait, no, we didn't. With his wisdom, he became the leader of the survivors, and with his immortality, their god. To resolve the challenges wrought by the Second Corner and to unite all of Barang, he ascended to the Nine Moons, leaving the governance of Barang to his daughter, Nayantara. Okay? From his throne on the moon, he continues to watch. Twice he has descended from his station, first to cure the plague that suffocated Barang, and second to defend his daughter against the treacherous Diego. Okay, so Nayantara must be the queen, right? We know about the Fifth Order. That's the one that won't join the rebellion. Mist Dwellers. One of the major settlements... I mean, there should be an S there. Of the Mist, founded by Diego the Betrayer, he unified all the scattered clans and rebelled against the Queen 3 times. After Diego's imprisonment, Mist Dwellers came under the rule of his equally cunning son, Glenn. Okay? The pagans of the Mist, they recognize neither God nor law. They raid other settlements and spread chaos. Their leader is Diego's insane daughter, Celine. Okay. So, sounds like there's several factions, and they might be run by Diego's kids. Okay. So, you've been to Gart before?
A long time ago.
You wait for her to give more detail, but the woman offers no further information. What could you tell me about the Fifth Corner?
It's governed by Verena, who still supports the Queen.
Maya explains.
It was the only tribe in the Mist that didn't involve in the uprisings of Diego.
Wait, what? Oh yeah, the Fifth Corner, yeah.
It is also the most populous tribe because it is the safest. Verena tries to enforce the laws as much as possible in accordance with Gart standards. It will be the safest place for you too, if that's what you're looking for.
Alright, thanks, Maya. Can you tell me about the Mist Dwellers?
It's governed by Glenn, second son of Diego. Not as bright as his father, but still a cunning leader. He's a pawn of his father, even though he claims otherwise. He's been doing a good job turning people against the Queen. Like his father, he worships the Ascendant and thinks the Queen is a fraud.
How does Diego still worship the Ascendant if he came down personally to be like, hey dude, stop?
I've heard they've been struggling recently, though. I don't know why.
Maya pauses.
I can say that much at least.
What can you tell me about the Liberated?
Ruled by a mad woman named Celine, daughter of Diego.
Maya can't hide her hatred, as she says Celine. There are quotes missing here.
They are pagans, not part of any church or belief. That's why they call themselves the Liberated. They don't follow any laws or rules. Their camps is a total madhouse.
Okay.
I would stay away from them if I were you.
Alright, thanks, Maya. I have other questions. Are you leaving the Mist? Maya takes a moment before responding.
There's nothing left for me in here.
She stretches her legs, extending them forward.
I used to be a mercenary, but things changed when I lost my sword hand.
She indicates her missing arm with her remaining arm.
I have to build a new life for myself. I believe Gart will offer good opportunities.
Okay. How'd you lose your arm? A small melancholic smile spreads across her face.
I undertook a difficult task that was beyond my capabilities and paid the price.
She pauses.
I can say that much at least.
You're giving me man, what was the name of that red-haired girl from Sword of Ice and Fire, Tale of Ice and Fire? What the hell is the name of the series? The Game of Thrones books? Ygritte? You know nothing, Jon Snow. That was a long way to get there. Sorry about that. That's who I'm talking about, though. Why did you undertake it if it was so difficult?
Anything worth doing is difficult.
Okay. Gart is a big city. I'm sure you'll find something to do there, especially if you are following the teachings of Karakin and his daughter.
I do. I'm a member of the Church of the Family.
She raises her hand to her face in a graceful motion, then directs it towards the Ascendant's throne. Traditionally, the gesture means allegiance to the Queen when performed with the left hand, Karakin with the right hand, and to both when using both hands.
I'm guessing you are too, since you are the Herald?
Nah, I don't believe in religion. I think it's lame. Church of the Family worships both Kairakan and Nayantara and argue that the two cannot be worshipped separately. The majority of the population is part of this church. The greatest reward for them is to become part of the Holy Family, serving them and strengthening their rulings as their primary duties. Yikes. No. Interesting choices here. We can say that we're part of the same religion as her. We could say that we just worship the Ascendant. We could say we just worship the Queen. 14. Frankly, I do not follow the teachings of any church. I've seen the Queen close up many times. She has a sacred aura, that's for sure, but that's not enough for me to worship her or the Ascendant. I mean, how could I possibly pass this roll? I have 2, meaning that I would have to get double 6s. I mean, I'll try. So freaking close. We got a 5 and a 6. Articulating your thoughts becomes more challenging than you thought, as if your tongue momentarily ceases to obey you. You manage to speak, but you fail to utter your intended words. Instead, you say you're not sure about your beliefs yet. Boo! Maya raises an eyebrow, looking disappointed.
A Queen's Herald who doesn't worship the Queen? Surprising. I doubt the mist will clear your mind.
Return to other questions. Anything else you can tell me about the mist? I like this background music, by the way. Anytime you got, like, someone to be vocalizing like that, or like a choir, I go nuts for that. Maya picks up another twig to play with the fire.
Let me share something not many people are aware of.
Her eyes shift from the flames to you.
Animals.
She adds in a somewhat subdued tone.
I don't know if it's just me, but here, animals seem much more intelligent than those in Gart.
What do you mean? For a moment, she becomes lost in thought.
Sometimes they watch you.
She almost whispers, as if she's afraid the birds will hear her.
They just stop and watch you with a strange, thoughtful look in their face.
She pauses.
I can say that much at least. Probably just my paranoia.
So maybe there's like a hive mind in the mist? I see, thanks for the information.
Now you tell me, what news do you bring from Gart?
Detect a hint of longing in Maya's voice when she mentions the place. Despite the war, the loss of the army, and all other adversities, the city remained stronger than ever. Queen Nayantara had already formed a new army and dispelled suspicions among the coroners. Frankly, the city's in a tough spot. The disappearance of the army in Kai has understandably stirred up unrest among the people in the coroners. This seems like it's probably more accurate, so I'll say that.
Do you think there will be another dissension?
Since Kairakan the Ascendant moved to the throne and handed the rule to his daughter, he has dissented twice. First time was to deal with the plague, we already know this. During each dissension, the Ascendant's throne turns blood red, floods sweep across the shores, and the mountains tremble. Holy crap. Okay. I'm a little confused about the second option here. Considering the Queen's current path, it feels like an unavoidable outcome, regardless of the Church of the Ascendant's efforts. So, it sounds like she's going against what the Ascendant God wants. I'm just going to say I hope not. Maya nods thoughtfully. She looks at the throne as if to make sure it's not red.
I guess we'll see.
Getting late, you better get some sleep before the morning. I nod. Can I spend the night here?
Please do. It's always safer to spend the night with someone in the mist.
Before she starts trying to sleep, Maya looks at her sword leaning on her shoulder for a moment.
You must have some coin. You are the Queen's Herald after all. Would you like to buy my sword?
He pulls the sword slightly out of its sheath, revealing the gleam of the metal.
It's of high quality. I have no use for it in God, especially since I lost my arm and can't wield it. I'm sure it would be more useful to you. I can give you a good deal.
I'll examine it. Craftsmanship of the sword indeed looks impressive. Despite its size, it doesn't look overly heavy. Leather-clad scabbard and the hilt feature silver engravings, evident that it has been well maintained as the steel remains shiny and the edge sharp. But where did she get this kind of sword? Where did you get it?
It was my brother's sword. You don't need to know any more details,
She says with a touch of finality in her voice. How much do you want for it?
30 coins. What do you say?
I don't need the sword because I'm a magic man. But I feel a little bit bad for Maya. So why don't we donate to her? But not 30 gold because that's crazy. Big bucks, no whammies? Hell yeah,
Fine.
she says in a dissatisfied tone, reluctantly extending the sword towards you. Take the sword and give her 20 coins. Maya's sword, 3 to 4 damage, requires strength too. Crap. More of an investment than I wanted.
Great.
Although Maya has handed you the sword, her eyes remain fixed on it, as if she might reconsider and snatch it back at any moment. Instead, she silently offers you a blanket, then lies down beside the tree stump where she had been sitting, pulling a blanket over herself. I mean, you can have it back if you want. You feel bad now. Now it requires 3 strength? What the hell? The stats changed on it? What? I do the same. Before closing your eyes, you gaze at the sky, observing the mist-shrouded stars and the Ascendant's throne. You think about the mist, the army, and your mission. Success in your mission means gaining the Queen's favor. Boo! Gaining the Queen's favor means a comfortable life and a special place at the Ascendant's throne after death. But is that what you want? No. The Queen sucks. Want to bring peace between the mist and the guard? Want to explore the mist? Nah. Exciting adventure? I don't care. I just want to bring peace. As you watch the mist gradually grow thick enough to blanket the throne, your eyes begin to heavy with the weight of sleep. My eyes. Wake up in the morning. Sorry, you wake up to a morning with the mist clearing. Your body's aching from the hard ground, but you feel reasonably rested. Fire's long since gone out, and Maya's already left. You are not alone. The trunk where Maya was sitting, 3 men are now seated, each of them wearing dark green armor with long capes touching the ground. The man in the middle has long black hair. It is busy sharpening a piece of wood with a knife. The bald one to his left is munching on something, and the hooded figure to his right is watching you. Good morning, says the guy eyeing you. The other shifts their focus to you too. You get a bit worried you might not wake up. You sense trouble. They sit up without any sudden movements. Who are you? We are the Knights of the Mist, says the man in the middle with a gruff voice. His pitch black hair falls down to his shoulders, his face clean shaven. Heard about the Knights of the Mist before. They were the law enforcers in the Mist, initially loyal to Diego until Kai the Written won their allegiance. Man gestures with a knife towards himself. Name's Vol. And he points to the bald man. This one's Fury. Next he points to his right. And this one is Bulk. He turns back to you. And you? I'm Quantic. Nice to meet you. And what the hell are you doing here, Quantic? I'm coming from Gart. I was sent by the Queen herself to investigate the Lost Army, where that's not your business. I'll be honest. For a few seconds, the 3 men watch you with surprised expressions. They exchange glances between Bulk and Fury don't escape your notice. They don't believe you. I understand, Bull says. Then he changes the subject. We are looking for a woman, about average height, blue eyes, and missing an arm. And we think you might just know where this lady is. She usually introduces herself as Maya. Hmm. Um, I feel like I would like to know why they're looking for her. She's a murderer, Vol explains. He pauses in frustration when the bald man Fury starts making squishing noises while eating some kind of fruit. Annoyed, Vol exhales and continues. She killed more than 7 innocent people. We've been chasing her for a while. Hmm. What are you going to do once you find her? We'll make sure she pays for her crimes. Vol explains simply. Volk can't hide his grin. They're nothing like the Knights of the Mist you'd heard about. Yeah, they sound like they're going to kill her. Although I have to be honest, how am I supposed to lie when I've already purchased her sword? Um, hmm. I'm worried that if I say yes, I met her, I can't lie about where she's headed. But I feel like I want to lie and send them in the wrong direction, to be honest. So I'm going to try this. Well, that's a sigh showing signs of dwindling patience. Shoot. 2 questions only. Tell me more about Maya. She was a cold blooded killer, Vol explains. She killed more than 7 people, including my brother, the hooded man Volk adds. Including his brother, Vol confirms, and an innocent father whose daughter reached out to us for help. We've been chasing her. That's all you need to know. He sniffs. Next question. All right. You should probably find out what happened to the army. No, Vol says bluntly, but you feel like he's lying. That's the end of your questions. Now spill everything you know. Ah, you're not able to lie, dude? I don't like this. Now I'm a filthy rat. 3 men thinks the 3 men thinks over what you said. Vol glances at Bulk. Did she say anything else? Not really. I see. Well, thank you for your cooperation. I believe that you are telling the truth. We'll leave you alone now and continue on our way. I don't feel good about this. I feel like they're lying. Bolt pauses and shares a quick glance at the others. You got, it appears. But before that, I'll have to politely ask you to hand over my sword. Bolt points to the sword beside you. That doesn't belong to you. Um, no? I don't want to sell them the sword. I kind of want to fail this. 50 coins. The three men look at each other, sharing a smirk. Thought you could play us for fools. Don't drag it out. Just give us the sword and we'll leave you in place. In peace. No. All right, have it your way, Vol says with a hint of disappointment. Casually tosses the knife and twig aside, then unsheath his sword from his belt. Simultaneously, Fury and Bulk reach for their weapons, taking their stances. 1 against 3. I prepare for a fight. Vol moves carefully and slowly. Vol moves slowly and carefully to your left. Fury takes his position on your right, and Bulk keeps a bit of a distance while preparing his bow. Combat is turn-based. You have 3 action points, and different actions consume varying amounts of AP. Don't forget to equip your items. See the encyclopedia for more information. Okay. How many items can I equip? Ah, shit! Damn it! Okay. I'm gonna die. I didn't mean to do that. I was trying to equip it. What do you mean my only magic is heal? I can only equip one or the other. That sucks, man. Okay. I'm gonna die. I don't know how much damage this does. 2 damage per AP. Yeah, we're dead. Okay, I mean, I have to heal. Every time I do this, I have to, every time I switch weapons, I seem to use my AP. Also wasting a large amount of mana. Dude, we're so dead. I have 2 mana left. I mean, what am I supposed to do here? Punch these guys to death? It's not going to happen. All right, didn't even get one of them. You died. Okay, well, I gotta say, rough. Had I known that I could only have one or the other, I would not have picked both. I'll tell you that much. Okay. Plus 2 damage per AP. Here's my thing, though. I don't know how much. It's 2 plus 2, okay? Plus 2 damage per AP. Okay, so it's 8 damage total. Die. Okay. You lied to me. Can't attack the back. Punch. Let's see. This is not an efficient use of my mana. Ah, okay, but I can cast multiple times as long as I have more AP. Good to know. And here, you little dummies, you shouldn't have messed with a freaking wizard. No, it was 6 damage with the full. Yeah. You silly fool. You thought you could mess around, and now you were finding out, dummy. Okay, 1 strength, a health potion, which I desperately need. 2 dex. 5 arrows, okay. I feel like investing in strength, probably a good idea. Yeah. 3 men fight fairly. They rely too much on their numerical advantage and underestimate. As a result, all 3 men end up on the ground, Bulk and Fury dead, Vol wounded. Vol groans in pain from the deep wound in his stomach, coughing and writhing. Expect you to finish him off. Doesn't beg for mercy or plead. There's not even anger in his eyes. He simply watches you, waiting for the job to be done. I spare him. Will simply closes his eyes, waiting for you to finish him. But instead, you step over Vol and continue forward. Time to hit the road. And leaving him to die seems not great. Okay, 2 rations required. I mean, I can heal myself. Oh. I don't know how to heal myself. Maybe I can't heal myself. Did I just leave all that equipment behind? Oh my god, you freaking idiot. Oh. Hold on. Can I load my last save? Okay, we're going to murder them again. Because I think I left all that equipment behind, and that's freaking crazy. I hate that you did that to me. No. You know what? We're loading again. We're going to do this. We're going to do this right. I don't know why we don't have our damn weapon equipped before the fight, but that's fine. Okay. One more time. Get raided to death, you idiot. I mean, if it's going to take multiple raids anyways, we should probably take you out first. Since you do the most damage. Get out of here. Dead? I don't think you're actually dead. Okay. Doing an awful lot of damage here, my friend. Okay, we're in a much worse spot than we were before. Yeah, okay, so you have to pick up this crap. Which, I'll be honest, is frustrating. Okay, good stuff. Spare the man. Time to hit the road. Fork. Come down from the mountain pass. The air starts to warm up. Trees now are less dense. Trees now are less denser? Fog thicker. Trees are now less dense, but the fog is thicker. Something like that. You don't have a map, and even if you had one, the fog would render it almost useless. You will have to rely on your senses to find the way forward. Before I do that, can I, please heal myself outside of combat? I really need health. And I feel like I should be able to do that. I'm a freaking magic man. Why would I only be able to heal in combat? That seems crazy to me. Okay. Spells? Yeah. There we go. How is this combat only? That doesn't... It's not combat only. Okay, good. Okay. How did I get to that? Like this. Escape. Okay, I mean, that's probably good enough. Then we just use these. Now we have an inventory spot. I continue forward. Arrive at the fork of the road, one path curling left and the other to the right. Standing at the very center of the split is a wooden signpost. Beneath it, something dark rests on the ground. It's like a pile of rocks, but it's hard to make out exactly what it is. Closer to the sign. Notice what lies in front of the sign isn't a rock, but a human body. How could you confuse rocks for human bodies? The body is seated with its back leaning against the wooden sign, legs stretched out in front. Its head hangs limply over the ground, its clothing stained with dried blood. It's probably a trap, right? But I am a healing magic man, so I'll run over to see if I can help. Bending down beside the body, you check for a pulse, but no luck. You realize the figure is a woman, maybe in her 50s. She must have been dead for maybe 2 or 3 days. Judging by the bite marks on her neck, it seems she was killed by a wild animal. Peculiar aspect is how she has been left here, almost as if deliberately placed. I wonder if it could be the work of Vol and his companions, but that's very unlikely. There might be useful items on her. Okay. I don't really have room for items. She doesn't need her garbage, so I'll check. Check the woman's pockets and the small bag on her back. Among your findings are a couple of handy lockpicks, a half-moldy piece of bread, a few bug-infested fruits, and a small note. Note, not every item takes up an inventory slot. Some will fit into your backpack. Weapons, armors, potions, and rations occupy a slot, while others go into your backpack with a few exceptions. Click on your backpack to view its contents. I don't see why I wouldn't be able to take all this stuff, to be honest. Okay. Read the note. What are you talking about, Amy? The note reads. You really lost it, woman. What do you think you can do in the mists? Iraq knows what happened to the army there. Read the note and continue reading. The army is no more. It disappeared, along with our son. Told that fool to stay home and take care of his own life, but he was obsessed with Kai. Kai this, Kai that. And we got what he deserved. Don't drag this on any longer. Come back. I don't want to lose you to the mist, too. Please. Pretty sad. Oh! Hello. On the sign's left side, you can make out the words Cloud Fishers. Hey, that's where I'm supposed to be going. The right side, however, is obscured by dust and tree branches. You extend your hand to clear it, a sudden growl from behind startles you, setting shivers down your spine. Turn around, you come face to face with the murderer of the elderly woman. A leopard, almost as large as a bear, approaches you slowly and cautiously, keeping a watchful eye on both you and the woman. Got at the top of my lungs. No. Cast a harmless spell to scare it off. Yeah. Get out of here, loser. Your spell startles the creature, caught pursuing it to move its head between your hands and face. What? Your spell startles the creature, causing it to move its head between your hands and face. I don't know what this means. How close was it to me? It pulls its body back, poised as if about to pounce on you, baring its teeth, but instead of attacking, it retreats, putting some distance between you. I watch him go away. A little further away, it turns its head, observing you with an eerily human-like expression that sends shivers down your spine. Instead of a mere instinct-driven wild creature, it seems like a thoughtful human being sizing you up. With that, it vanishes into the mist. Now you know what Maya meant about animals. Take a moment to catch my breath, then I check the unreadable part of the sign. The sign reads, Compass. My journey. Okay, I'm supposed to go here. Why is this a circle? Is that a side quest? I don't want to go on a side quest, but I guess I'll go Cloud Fishers like I'm supposed to. As you move on, the forest becomes thinner and gives way to an open landscape. Mist prevents you from seeing very far, but you can make out the silhouette of a small village ahead. Cloud Fishers, you murmur to yourself. The air is cold and still. The sound of birds in the forest is now replaced by the eerie silence of the mist. You hope that Cloud Fishers will be a solution to this silence. Approach the village. Cloud Fishers look smaller than you expected. You see a handful of wooden houses alongside a large barn and an inn. What really catches your attention are the huge nets lined up around the village, all facing in the same direction. There are barrels placed underneath them. Interesting. You approach the nets, murmuring whispers reach your ears.
His fate was written long ago,
So faint it feels as though the mist is whispering to you.
shrouded in pain and sorrow.
When you move toward the source of the voice, a silhouette emerges from the mist. An old man sits on a rock, slowly sharpening a sword in his hands. Okay. Well, I'm changing your voice, sir. Will he stand tall against his fate? He murmurs in a melodic tone. When what is written comes to pass. Seems like he hasn't sensed your presence. I listen to the song. In service of the queen, he rides, the old man continues in his deep voice, through the mist where secrets hide, to make what's written true forever. He lifts his sword slightly and gently measures its sharpness with a finger. But the mist wields its own pen, writing dark tales of men. I say hello. The old man stops singing and turns his gaze towards you. Doesn't seem overly surprised to see a stranger. His eyes are weary, but his shoulders are straight. Dark face is marked with wrinkles, and his short hair is now streaked with white. He jumps from the rock to the grass and approaches you. Apologies, I didn't see you, he says, giving your hand a firm shake. I'm Arim. Introduces himself. I don't remember seeing you before. I introduced myself too. A Queen's Herald seeking the army. Arim scans you from head to toe. The Queen must be desperate. He wears dark green leather armor covered with thin metal plates on his shoulder and chest. On the left side of his chest, there's a round medallion engraved with a sword and mist swirling around it. The Knight of the Mists. Anyway, welcome to the Cloud Fishers, Herald. Choosing this place as your first stop was the right decision. It is the safest place in the mist. Arm puffs out his chest with pride. Okay. What was the song you were singing? Singing? Arm looks confused. You've just arrived in the mist and you've already started hearing voices? Uh-oh. You making stuff up, dude? Run out of the mist? Looks at the medallion in his chest. That's right. Swords are my weapon. Mist my shield. Can't help but think about your encounter with Vol. Came across other knights as well. They were searching for someone named Maya. I do want to know more about Maya. They stopped by here, too, but I wouldn't call them knights. Just a bunch of thugs pretending to be something they're not. Curls his lip in disgust. Too many knights have gone missing with the army. Verena is desperate to fill their places. Okay. Do you know Maya, the person they were looking for? No. Arm's gaze momentarily drifts into the void. Seems lost in thought. He snaps out of it. He continues as if just hearing the question. No, I've neither seen nor heard of such a person. I mean, Maya's from here, so you probably have. Although Maya might not be her name. What could you tell me about Cloudfishers? Well, a small but safe village. You'll learn the details, yo. The sound of his horn rising from the village interrupts Arm's sentence. He turns his head, looking at the village. Misthorn, explains, turning back to you. It seems there's dread fog tonight. A fog that cloaks everything in a shroud of darkness. Isn't that like what normal fog does? I guess fog is not super dark, but it definitely obscures your vision. What are those huge nets around the village? The village is out in the open in plain sight. How is it the safest place? I see. I mean, the nets probably like catch things, right? They are fog catchers, the old man explains. When the fog passes through them, they collect the water droplets in the fog. That's why this place is called Cloudfishers. Okay. You don't necessarily need high, thick walls for safety. He grips the hilt of his sword. There are many ways to protect your home, and being inconspicuous is one of them. You see. I'm sure you'll be pleased with your visit. I thank him and proceed towards the village. Herald, Aram says as you're about to leave. When you turn to him, you notice his gaze lost in the void. It takes a few seconds for life to return to his eyes. Traveling during dread fog is dangerous, he says. You should stay in the village tonight. If you want, you could stay in my room at the inn for the night. Where will you stay? I am a knight of the mist, Aram says without further explanation. Okay, thank you. Also, he interrupts again, there's a thief wandering around the village lately. Keep an eye on your belongings. He even stole my dagger. I nod and enter the village. The mist gradually thickens, slowly enveloping Cloudfishers and weaving its way through the massive nets. Just beneath a nearby net, a young man is busy with barrels. Beyond him is the inn Arm spoke of. Approach the net. Water drips from the net onto the barrels as the young man hurriedly swaps the full ones with empty ones. He mutters to himself, but you can't make out what he's saying. When he notices you, he says,
The inn's that way.
pointing dismissively without even looking at you. Need a hand? The young man looks at you, seeming a bit surprised by your offer.
All right. If you could take that barrel over there to the inn, I'd really appreciate it.
The barrel reaches up to your waist and is filled to the brim. Looks heavy, but the young man doesn't seem to have any trouble lifting and carrying it. I'll roll it. Seems like a bad idea. Yep. After making sure the lid is tightly closed, you slowly tip the barrel over. However, it turns out heavier than you expected. It slips from your hands and begins rolling down. Even the young man watches the barrel rolls freely down the slope, crashes into the rock where Aram is sitting, causing the old knight to jump. The old knight looks at you and slowly shakes his head from side to side. The young man turns to you smirking.
So much for being smart.
Well, rude. I go to the inn. Leave the young man to his work and climb the slope toward the inn. Behind you, the young man follows with the barrel on his back, panting and muttering under his breath. A bald, bearded man pokes out from the inn's door. Hugo, he shouts at the young man. How is it that moving 3 barrels is taking you all day? Get on with it already. You hear Hugo mutter a curse under his breath as the bald man retreats inside without noticing you. Hugo sets the barrel down with a thud, dusts off his hands, pauses studying briefly.
Are you a mist stranger?
I don't know what that is.
Not from around here.
He clarifies, gesturing towards the mist.
From the mists, I mean.
How did you know? Of course I am. Where else would I be from?
Not surprised, he says with a shrug. I'm Hugo. Nice to meet you.
He gestures for you to follow.
Come on, you must have had a long journey. Let's get you a room.
Step inside the inn after Hugo. Well, says the bald man inside the inn as he spots Hugo. A record. Finishing your work before evening. He stops mid-sentence when his eyes land on you. Ah, welcome, traveler. I didn't see you there. Gestures toward a chair at the counter. Please, have a seat. I sit, glancing around the inn. The inn looks clean and well-kept. It isn't very large, with only 5 tables neatly arranged in the main room. Against the far wall, there's a modest fireplace. On either side of it, windows let in the faint light from outside. The only unusual detail is the pile of weapons stacked near the wall by the staircase leading upstairs. Wooden spears, crudely forged swords, and an assortment of arrows are heaped together. The smell of cooking onions fills the air, and your stomach grumbles. I hate onions. I'm Rick, the bald man introduces himself. His thick gray beard stretches in all directions. I see you've already met my son, Hugo. He glances at the young boy with black hair and narrow shoulders. Rick grabs a plate full of food from behind him and sets it down on the counter. Take this to your mother, Hugo. I'll attend to our guest. Without protest, Hugo takes the plate. Rick turns back to you. This is the Mist Catcher Inn, he says, tapping the counter with one hand. Nice to meet you, Rick. I introduce myself as well. Queen's Herald? Hugo freezes in the middle of the stairs, a plate in his hand, staring at you in surprise. You are from Gart? Take your mother's food, Hugo. Sorry. My bad. I should have done the meek voice. After sending the boy on his way, Rick adds, I must admit, I wasn't expecting to host a Herald today. He tries to hide his curiosity, eyeing you carefully. Are you hungry, Herald? I nod. Rick serves you a plate of food and says, Tell us, Herald, what brings the Queen's Herald to these parts? Hugo hurries downstairs, not wanting to miss the conversation, and looks at you with gleaming eyes.
Gart,
He says,
could you tell us about Gart?
Sure. Gart is continuing to grow. Nyantera has eased the tension between the other corners to some extent, blah, blah, blah. Gart is still in the process of recovering. The tension between the corners is greatly restricting Nyantara, and of course the army's disappearance has caused a significant loss of trust. I wonder if I'm changing the story by picking one or the other. I'm going to tell them what is probably the truth. That's bad news, Rick says. The number of loyal people to the Queen is already decreasing around here, though Verena is doing her best to prevent that. Serves food for himself and Hugo as well. I assume that's why she sent you here. I'm here for the army. Rick shakes his head as he takes a bite of food. That was my other guess. The onions in the stew don't look very appealing. Gross. Large carrots and potatoes are swimming in fat, and the meat is barely there. But it's been a long time since you had a hot, hearty dish, so you eat it gratefully. You know anything about the army? They passed through the south here on their way to the fifth corner, but they didn't stop by here, which is a shame. The young people of our village were very hopeful to see the written. Glances at Hugo. To tell you the truth, I was excited to see him too. Not every day a folk hero comes here. Any rumors? There are so many of them. Rick wipes the food from his beard. Each one more absurd than the last. Whether Kai ascended to the throne with his army, or if they became one with the mist and started protecting people, you name it, there's a tale about it. If you ask me, mist simply swallowed them whole. Happens to everyone who spends too much time in the mist. Anything else about the army? As Rick eats his meal, he pulls something out of his mouth, inspects it briefly, and then sets it aside on the edge of his plate before continuing to speak. Sir, what did you serve me? I know they didn't stay long in the fifth corner. Word is, the army is set out for the south. My guess is that Kai wanted to meet with Glenn. Hugo, eating his own meal beside him, chuckles.
Don't be ridiculous. Why would the written want a meeting with Glenn? I'm sure he wanted to kill him.
I let them continue. I mean, since Glenn is still alive, Rick says, tapping his temple with a finger. Think before you speak, will ya? Hugo glances at you from the corner of his eye before returning to his meal. Kind of mean to your son, dude. What can you tell me about Cloudfishers? Just a small village minding its own business, the innkeeper explains. Don't let its small and unprotected appearance fool you. Probably one of the safest places around. Hasn't been attacked by either the Mist Dwellers or the Liberated for maybe 30 years now. We're known for the fog catchers you saw outside, those giant nets. Collect water and supply it to the fifth corner and the Laren Monastery. How is it protected? Without drawing too much attention, Rick says, brushing it off, but you can sense there's more to it than just that. Okay. What's the deal with all the weapons? Security, Rick explained simply. Then a dark expression falls over his face. Cloudfishers is safe, but when the army disappeared, the whole balance shifted. The fifth corner went from being the strongest clan to the most vulnerable. The Mist Dwellers and the Liberated will likely try to take advantage of the situation soon. Rather be prepared for such a scenario. Isn't it the fifth corner's job to protect you? Rick laughs mockingly. Right, but Verena can't do much more than provide a mad and elderly knight. You mean Aram? Yes, our village is a madman.
Not just mad,
Hugo interjects.
he's dangerous too. Yesterday he was harassing the traveling merchants from the fifth corner for no reason,
Looks at his father.
and his sword wasn't in its scabbard.
What do you mean by mad? His mind isn't quite right, Rick explains. He zones out sometimes, yelling at the mist for no reason, getting more aggressive by the day. Hugo finishes his plate and says,
He's very lonely. He sits all alone in the middle of the mist. I think it's a miracle he hasn't completely lost his mind yet.
told me there's a thief in the village. Rick shakes his head. Yeah, Aram's been obsessed with finding that thief lately. I think he still wants to feel useful. Don't you worry about the thief? He hasn't stolen anything important so far. Just old things people don't use anymore. Why we're not taking it seriously for now. But, he continues, if he keeps this up, we'll do what needs to be done. Okay? Turn to other matters. Not just a soldier, Rick says to Hugo and you. He's an old friend. Known him since my youth. Whenever someone needed help, he'd be the first to run to their aid. Do anything to protect the village. Lets out a treble sigh. But it looks like he's about to become a problem we'll need to solve soon. Okay? What's the story of this inn? Rick sets his empty plate aside and starts wiping the counter with a damp cloth. I wouldn't say it's much of an extraordinary story, but it belonged to my mother's cousin. When his children couldn't take over for various reasons, he took me in. Been running this place for about 30 years now. My wife and son. Ask you why your wife eats meals upstairs and doesn't join us? She's probably sick, dude. Rick and Hugo both pause for a moment and look at each other. Seems you've touched on a sensitive subject. He's unwell, Rick summarizes, though you sense there's a long story behind the brief explanation. Decide not to press further. Do Miss Strangers drop by often? Yes. Since the army disappeared, the number of people coming from the other corners has increased. Families whose children have joined the army. Children. Curious explorers, eager to unravel the mystery. Opportunists trying to capitalize on it. Been a steady stream of all sorts passing through here these past few years. Compared to other matters. I hope, Rick says, shouting Hugo a stern look, that after me, Hugo will take over this place and the Mistcatcher will continue to be run by our family. Let him do what he wants, dude. Aram told me I can stay in his room for the night. Of course, his room is the first one on the right upstairs. It's an honor to host the Herald. Tonight's meals are on us as well.
I don't think it's a good idea to leave Aram outside during Dreadfog,
Hugo says to his father. Rick shrugs. You know, he won't listen no matter what I say. Think them both and retreats to the room. Aram's room is just big enough to fit a bed and a wardrobe. Next to the bed, there's a stack of books piled high in a small window. The room feels like a coffin. Through the window, you can see the dreadfog thickening as the night falls, engulfing the entire village. I mean, Aram's definitely going to die, right? I'm going to take a look at the books, since I'm a wizard man. You sit on the bed and glance over the dust-covered books. All of them are yellowed and worn with age. Each one focuses on Kai and his achievements. The Wisdom of the Written by Burrito Helmond. 5 Oaths of the Knights of the Mist by Eman Near. The author's name has been crossed out. Battle of Dreadfog by Simon of Compass. I'm most curious about the Dreadfog currently. When Kai saw Dreadfog, the very thing everyone avoided at all costs, he saw not an obstacle, but a solution. He dared to attempt what even the bravest Knights of the Mist could not. He led an entire army into Dreadfog. When the Dreadfog lifted, Amon, the leader of the Knights at the time, saw his enemy not where he had left them, but on a hill behind his army. He was left speechless, unable to stop the massacre that followed. Okay? From this day forward, forever, I will learn the path of the mists. I will always act for the benefit of the people and the greater good. I will uphold justice with my life. I will be generous to those in need. Sword's my weapon, the mist my shield. From this day forward, forever. I mean, Aram was definitely right about those other guys. When Kai the Written suffered his first defeat in the siege of the Third Corner, nobody could believe it. His followers, who regarded him as invincible, tried to cover up this defeat. When they did, Kai turned to them and said, "Don't you dare do such a thing. Let people see my failures. For if they don't see them, they won't see how I overcame them." Point. I leave the Bix and get some good rest. As you're about to savor the comfort of lying down without rocks digging into your back for the first time in ages, there's a knock at your door. Hugo pokes his head through the crack.
Sorry, he says, but can we talk for a moment? I know you're tired, but I won't take much of your time, I promise.
With an inward sigh, I invite him in. We're closing the door quietly. He checks to make sure the hallway is empty. Then he sits down on the bed next to you. Dreadfog has now almost reached its final form, cloaking the village in darkness. The room is lit only by a single candle.
I couldn't say this in front of my father. I'm going to tell you tomorrow, but I couldn't wait.
He rubs his hands together to warm them.
I'm going to Gart,
He declares as if seeking your approval.
but I need help. Your help, I mean.
Let me, what kind of help?
There's a group of merchants from the fifth corner, young man explains, leaning in slightly. Camp is a 20-minute walk from here to the north. They're heading to Gart, and they agreed to take me along if I pay them.
And you want me to get the money for you?
No, I have some money, at least part of it. I'll manage the rest somehow, but that's not all they want, he says, clearing his throat before continuing. They also want blore and enough provisions for the journey.
A rare and precious ore that, when burned, emits an orange light strong enough to pierce even the thickest fog. Ore?
Ah, yes. I forgot you're a mist stranger, he says, leaning in slightly. Some kind of ore. When burned, it emits a light that cuts through the mist, an absolute necessity for traveling around here. And as you might guess, it's highly valuable.
I mean, are you the thief, dude? How'd you get the money?
Don't worry about that, he says dismissively.
Let's say I agree, where will I find blore?
I don't know either. There used to be an active blore mine somewhere in the south. I have no idea what state it's in now. Sure, it's sold in the fifth corner, too. But then you'd have to pay for it.
And in return?
In return, Hugo says, looking into your eyes with shining ones, I'll tell you about my meeting with the army, and...
Pauses before continuing.
I'll give you a valuable necklace.
Meeting with the army? I thought the army didn't stop by here.
That's true. It didn't stop me from sneaking away to go see them. So, do we have a deal?
Hugo's eyes shine brighter than the candles illuminating the room. Really wants your help, but you can guess what Rick might think about this. Why do you want to go to Gart?
After all, it's the only corner where opportunities are flying around, right?
He says with a shrug.
Well, sure, I can find something there to prove myself. I could build a new life. And the fact that it's not constantly covered in mist is quite appealing, too, he adds as an afterthought.
What about your father? More importantly, what about your mother?
He cares about nothing beyond this inn in the village. I understand why. Everyone treats him like a leader. Whenever someone in the village has a problem, they come to him. He likes that.
He pauses.
He's valued here and has a life. But me, I know I can do more than just deal with barrels all day. I'm more than what I appear, but I don't think I can prove that to my father. I know there's more to me than carrying barrels.
He sounds like he's trying to convince himself, not you. I'll try to help the kid.
Thank you so much, Quantic.
Hugo can barely contain his joy and almost moves to hug you, but holds himself back. Then he places his hand on your shoulder in gratitude.
I'll make it worth your mile, I promise.
He pauses just before leaving the room as something occurs to him.
Oh, I probably don't need to tell you this, but don't mention any of this to my father. Otherwise, I'll be stuck here for the rest of my life.
Watch Hugo leave and get some rest. Okay? Faint noises from downstairs pull you out of sleep. Unsure if they're part of a dream, you try to drift back into slumber, yet the subtle sound persists. You open your eyes. Dim light of the burning candle illuminates the room, and the pitch-black void outside confirms that only a few hours have passed. Getting up, you walk to the window and peer into the endless darkness. A faint glimmer emerges near the inn's entrance. Someone stepping outside, or is the mist playing tricks on you? Watch the light as it gradually disappears into Dreadfog's consuming shroud. You wait for it to return, but you are unable to fight the sleep. You stumble back into bed, surrendering to the pull of exhaustion. Interesting. Once again, sounds pull you from a deep sleep. This time, it's the raised voices from outside. Is the mother missing? You open your eyes to the bright room. The Dreadfog is lifted, replaced by the sun. Don't you dare lie to me, boy. A deep, gruff voice bellows from outside. Should I trust my own eyes or your words? I look out the window. The crowd is gathered, all watching the front of the inn with wide eyes. Following their gaze, you spot Aram. He's holding a sword. I saw you, shouts at Hugo, who barely reaches Aram's chest. You've been sneaking around in the Dreadfog. You stole my dagger. Was you, thief?
I didn't steal your dagger or anything,
Hugo retorts in his trembling, boyish voice. I kind of believe that you did. Arm charges toward the boy. Hugo tries to stand firm before the knight, but the impact causes him to lose balance and fall. The sword rises into the air. Arm, stop. Arm lifts his rage-contorted face, searching for the source of the shout. That moment, the inn's door bursts open with a loud bang, and Rick storms out. Arm, he yells, his voice a mix of anger and fear. What are you doing? Get a hold of yourself. Arm freezes, his sword still raised. For a moment, he stares at his hand as if he doesn't belong to him, then shifts his gaze to Hugo, lying before him with fear in his eyes. He lowers his sword. He starts to say, but can't finish. Instead, he turns and walks away. Get ready and go downstairs. The crowd is already dispersed. Some are eating breakfast inside the inn. Rick is busying himself at the counter. When he sees you coming down the stairs, he forces a smile. Good morning, he says. I guess the chaos this morning woke you up. Hope you slept well last night. What was the chaos about? Aram, Rick says, as if that explains everything. He claims he saw Hugo outside during the night. I think I saw someone too. Probably Aram you saw, Rick says. Hugo, no matter how fog-brained he might be, knows better than to step outside during the Dreadfog. Rick lets out a deep, troubled sigh. Witnessing an old friend slowly change and lose himself. It's painful, he says, rubbing his bald head. It's not the first time I've experienced something like this. Anyway, he continues, there's something I wanted to talk to you about. It's a breakfast plate in front of you. My problem isn't just arm, unfortunately, and maybe the Herald could help me. Hmm. All right, I would love to see more, but unfortunately, it has been an hour, so we're gonna have to call it here. But the game's pretty interesting. I really like the style that it's going for. I like that everything is kind of like misty and black and white. The writing's pretty good so far, although I did notice kind of a reasonable number of, I guess unreasonable, I should say, number of typos. And the world is interesting. I would suggest that we get into combat or something similar faster, so you can get the person engaged in the kind of rolling side of the game. Um, I also would recommend that if you can only equip one book or the other, don't. I mean, warn people because, like, why would I have picked both of these? I probably would have invested differently. Um, but yeah, it's interesting that there's stats here. I'm curious if you like level up over time. I have to imagine that you will because um, some of the thing like the role required for the saying that you weren't religious was 14. That seems like real early for that role, but there must be some way to get higher stats. Um, Combat's kind of neat. It's a little basic, but it's serviceable, I would say, for a mostly narrative driven RPG. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. It seems to me, I guess I don't know much about swords, but it seems to me like they're probably the best thing to invest in, right? Because I've seen no way. Shit, I wasted all my mana potions. I guess when you sleep, you get all your mana back. Bummer. But I'm noticing that for spells, you need mana potions. For bows, you need arrows. But for swords, you don't seem to need anything. And also, the sword we bought, which I guess we couldn't have used. Yeah, you can't equip it. I guess you couldn't have used it because it requires 3 strength. But I mean, even the basic sword is 2 damage. I guess it's the least amount of damage of the options there, but not really because the ray is also 2 damage plus the amount of AP. I guess the only difference between the ray and the sword is that the ray can be ranged, but it requires mana, which is like, you know, I feel like the best combination is probably some amount of willpower and then the rest in strength. That way you can heal yourself with all your mana and not have to waste healing potions. But yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't seen more than just a single combat. But yeah, it's an interesting game. I encourage you to check out the demo, which is currently available. So feel free to do that. I will put a link in the description below. If you enjoy the demo, definitely wishlist the game because it helps out devs a lot. And if you'd like to help me out a lot, I'd appreciate it greatly if you left a comment and or like. Thank you very much for watching. I truly do appreciate your time, and I hope I see you in the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.